Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing checking back in with y'all, man. What's happening? I want to talk about Gervonta Tank Davis and his move to 140 to challenge Mario Barrios, who currently holds the regular WBA title. Not really looking at this as a legitimate title shot. I just want to talk about the matchup in general and then what this may mean for Tank Davis going forward and potentially, having a career at 140 pounds. Will he fight at 140 long term? Is this just something that he's doing to kind of test the waters at 140? This would be his first fight officially at that division. And for him to take on a guy like Mario Barrios, who's going to have every physical advantage, who is already comfortable at 140, and then he's also 26-0 and a very big puncher. This is an extremely dangerous and difficult fight for Gervonta Tank Davis because of the unknowns. On paper, Tank Davis is the more skilled fighter, the more technically sound guy, the more experienced fighter in big fights. Being on this stage, pay-per-view, it's going to be a huge crowd. It's going to be, it's going to be a lot of shine and light on this fight when it comes time for it to happen June 26th on Showtime pay-per-view. I don't know if they have an actual location yet. My first thought would be in Texas, more specifically San Antonio. I believe Mario Barrios is from the San Antonio area, and I'm pretty sure he's going to have a whole lot of fans that come out to watch him. And, of course, it's going to be a whole lot of people there to see Tank Davis. The Mexican fan base, they like knockouts. They like, all boxing fans like knockouts and, action-packed fights and shit like that. But, the Mexican fan base, they love to watch Tank fight, and it's going to be a great style matchup with two guys who can punch, two guys undefeated, two guys with high knockout ratios. And it's just a good style matchup if you're looking for action. And again, it's interesting with the size difference. Barrios already being comfortable at 140, being 5'10", almost 5'11". Tank Davis, his first fight at 140, being 5'5", a smaller guy naturally. But, it's just an intriguing matchup. It's not the fight that people were looking for. This is totally unexpected. This isn't something that, any of the fans had their eyes on as a possible fight. Me personally, I would like to see Tank campaign more at 130 because of the guys that are down there at 130, Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez, you got Chris Colbert, Gary Russell Jr. I would love to see. I believe Gary Russell Jr. still holds a title at 126, but I think he's looking to campaign at 130 and even 135. I would like to see Tank, fight at 130 primarily, but also, dibble and dabble at 135 as well, because there's some really good fights for him at 135. I just really never saw Tank Davis as a 140-pound fighter. Will he fight at 140 long term? That's the question here. This is a guy that you want to test yourself against if you're going to move up to 140. I mean, this is the type of guy that if this your first fight at 140, you ain't never, for a guy of Tank's status and stature, for him, this is a guy that you want to test, because you don't want to just move up to 140, fight some C-level guy and then think, oh, now I'm ready for the big dogs at 140. No. So if you going to go to 140 and you want to really see if you can, stump with the big dogs up there, Mario Barrios is a guy that you want to put Tank in there with to see if he can at least hang with those guys up there at that higher weight. but it's still a very, very dangerous fight for all of the same reasons why it's a good test for him at that division. For those same reasons, it's a very dangerous fight. But I don't understand what Mayweather is trying to prove, what Leonard Ellaby, PBC, what they're trying to prove with putting Tank in this position. So we'll see what happens. But as far as Tank fighting at 140 long term, maybe this is the fight that will let us know the answer to that question. Like I said, me personally, I think Tank Davis has all the skills to fight at 140. I just don't know if he has the size, because skills only gonna take you so far. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he can box. He can do everything. Tank Davis can do everything. He showed you he can make adjustments in the Leo Santa Cruz fight. He was also the smaller guy in that fight as well. When you look at the reach advantage, the length of Leo Santa Cruz, but Tank Davis, he showed you he can box, he can walk you down, he can box off the back foot. He's a great counterpuncher. He has great timing, great speed, great power, great boxing, ring IQ. His chin seems to hold up pretty good. We haven't really seen him just take any huge flush shots, but for the most part, his chin looks really good. So I don't doubt one bit that Tank Davis has all the ability and all the skills to compete at 140. I just got to be able to see it, with him in the ring with those bigger guys. Because, when you start talking about, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-inch height differences, that's when you start to get into some issues. But Barrios is probably one of the taller guys at 140, being 5'10". So if he can get in there and compete with somebody like this, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing Tank in there, with any of the other guys at 140, because then I know he can handle the size difference, and now all it comes down to is just the skill and the will. So also another big thing is how does his power affect those bigger guys? There's gonna be a lot of questions that's gonna be answered in this fight versus Barrios in regard to Tank Davis and his ability to sustain success at 140 pounds. And then it'll also speak volumes on what he could possibly do at 135. If he can go in there and dominate Barrios, to be honest with you, man, I don't really see Tank having too many issues with anybody at 135 aside from Devin Haney, to be honest with you. There are some future matchups that I would like to see Tank in. I would like to see Tank one day get a chance to fight Haney, Telefimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. I don't know at what point those guys will meet at the same weight class, but man, Tank Davis has so much. He's really on the brink of becoming a superstar. He has so much star potential, and he has so many big fights that he can have in the future. It's so many different guys that you can match up with Tank from 130 all the way up to 140. So maybe this is the goal of the money team, to see just how far Tank Davis's skills can take him, and just kind of give them a projection on what he can do going forward in his career, and the type of matchmaking that they can use, to set him up for big fights and even bigger fights in the future. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited for the fight just because it's Tank Davis. I always want to watch a Tank Davis fight no matter what. I know I'm going to get action. I know I'm going to get big punches, knockouts. I know I'm going to get great skill, just dominant performances when I watch Tank. And I'm excited to see what Mario Barrios brings to the table, and to see if he can push Tank to another level and make Tank, show us something that we haven't seen before. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. How do y'all feel about Tank Davis going up to 140 to fight Barrios? Do you believe that Tank Davis can compete at 140 long term versus these, the other guys? Like, I know Josh Taylor and Ramirez, they're about to fight for Undefeated May 29th, I believe. It's coming up this month. So I think it's like May 22nd or something like that, but it's coming up soon. Those guys are about to fight for Undisputed. I believe both of them will go up to 147. afterwards. So I don't know if he'll get an opportunity to fight those guys or the winner, for Undisputed. But, the other guys at 140, Regis Prograis, I know he'll probably be at 147 in due time. It's a few other guys at 140 that I would like to see him fight against. And then you got guys coming up from 135 to 140 soon as well. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. What weight class do you think Tank Davis is his best at? And do you think he can compete at 140 long term? Contender regime, boxing, I'll holla at y'all boys, man.